I'm Lisa Tarr, CEO and founder of Steps Pediatric Therapy, and today we're here to talk to you about healthy sleep habits for your child. And the reason why sleep is super important, as you all know, is it helps with emotional regulation. It also helps with brain development as well as physical growth, and it also helps with supporting their immune system. Part of the reason why we want to establish a healthy sleep routine is that we all need enough sleep. So what we want to do is we want to set a consistent bedtime schedule. We want to set up a consistent routine. It's not always possible that one parent's always doing bedtime routine. And ideally, it would be great if you have multiple caregivers, that both parents or other caregivers like grandparents are able to help support that bedtime routine. So to establish a healthy sleep routine, what you guys are going to do is you guys are going to try to be consistent on the time of day that you are going to put them to bed. So even on the weekends, putting them to bed within that ideal hour window of their normal bedtime will be great. Limiting screen time an hour before bed, obviously because of the blue light rays that come in, as well as establishing a consistent schedule beforehand will be super important to help your child with their bedtime routine. So a bedtime routine, a consistent schedule within it, even if it's, for example, 7 o'clock bedtime versus an 8 o'clock bedtime, even if you can still do things like pajamas, brushing their teeth, and a book, and even if it's with mom versus dad versus grandma versus auntie, anytime you can be consistent with a few things within their routine, that will help your child. Also being consistent on where you're placing them to sleep. So placing them, in their bedroom, or not allowing them to sleep in multiple different areas like the couch or a different bed. Or if you're traveling, put them in like a pack and play will be very helpful. Also, what we want to do is we want to avoid the late night. So if they are on the weekend, we want to keep that consistent routine. You don't want to veer off. So if their normal bedtime is 7 o'clock, you don't want to put them to bed at 10 on the weekend, just because that's going to offset their sleep-wake cycle a little bit, and that's going to be more difficult for you as a parent. And then the last thing that you guys can do is also encourage them to have some of those self-soothing regulation techniques, whether that's, a snuggle when they're a little bit older, or if they are using a pacifier or any of those types of things to help, instead of you as the parent regulating them, as much as they can do to help themselves go to sleep will be consistent. So if you did a book before bedtime, maybe keeping that book with them, when they're toddler age, obviously, when they're a little bit older, those will be great. So then they can sit and they can look at the book until they fall asleep. Tracking your child's sleep patterns can be a great tool for you guys when you have a child that has sleeping difficulties. And the reason why you want to track that is that you can actually, as parents, you can identify patterns, because you as parents know your child the best. So you can identify and track certain things like who, what, why, when, and where. And so if you track all of that, like if mom put him to bed, dad put him to bed, grandma put him to bed, if you put him to bed at 6 o'clock and then another person put it to bed at 8 o'clock, you can start collecting data and look at that data to see, okay, this worked out really well. And then you also want to track, did they sleep well? Did they sleep through the night? How long was it that they woke up? They needed a diaper change. All of those things, you want to really track it. Did they wake up with night terrors? Different things when they're having sleeping difficulties. You want to just understand what that beginning schedule looks like. Another thing that you guys want to be able to do is you want to try to, again, identify a few of those key things and be consistent. But again, if you had a bath that night and they slept really well, was it the bath, or was it maybe like the lotion that you put on them? So then you guys can identify all of the things that help them be more regulated. So even though the child might not need a bath from a hygiene standpoint, maybe you guys adopt a bath just in your daily routine or your nighttime routine, just because it helps your child sleep. So you guys as parents are going to identify that. You guys also might identify that a bath might be triggering and they have a difficulty, regulating and going to sleep. So you guys as parents are going to have that data the best from yourself, and you'll be able to collect that. So keeping that in mind. And then the other thing you guys want to do is if you're having sleep difficulty, you definitely want to talk to your pediatrician, because when you talk to your pediatrician, you can rule out things like an iron deficiency, or you can rule out other difficulties, for example, like sleep apnea, or if Is there an airway obstruction? Anything like that, you definitely want to talk more medical with your physician. If you've ruled out everything's fine on that standpoint and you're still having difficulty, you're going to contact us. Help establish healthy sleep time routines, bedtime routines. We can help you establish some social stories. A strategy right now that could help you guys would be taking pictures of maybe those 3 key activities. First, it's, for example, a bath, then it's PJs, and then it's brushing your teeth, and then bed. So even just doing like a small picture schedule just to help your child know, or setting that up. If they're older, you can write out the words. So those are just some strategies to help them, or like an older kid, like brushing their teeth, they can read the list. So pictures are really great for those early age kids. And you can definitely contact us at 720-900-7432, or you can check us out on our website. That's firststepspediatric.com.